Hi, I'm Justine, the nerdy half of the Breakaway Bravehearts, and today I'm in Bologna, known affectionately as La Dotta, La Grassa, La Rossa, or in English, the learned, the fat, the red. Bologna is a Tuscan tourist hotspot. It gets its colourful nickname, which has been around for centuries, from its most inviting qualities. The fat for the cuisine, the learned for the university, and the red for the colour of the bricks of the buildings. Although red also does refer to the political thought, because it's mostly left-wing in this city. In this episode, I'll explore each of these and give you a quick insight into the city's many delights. Straight away, I found my first example of the red in architectural form, the ruins of a 14th century castle. I love thinking about all the many folks throughout the century who have buzzed around the stone as it slowly just succumbs to nature. Strictly speaking, I think I'd classified this weather wall as more of an orange colour, but along with the tones of terracotta, saffron, pumpkin shown in most of the Bolognese buildings, I'm happy to widen my definition of red. The castle ruins lie at the entrance to Parco della Montanola. Big apologies for my pronunciation. There's a wide staircase, which would have been pretty spectacular in its time, which leads up to the park and offers a great view of the city. And on the other side of the park is a statue commemorating the land as the site of the Battle of Montanola. It was here that on 8th of August 1848, Italian revolutionaries from Bologna defeated and temporarily expelled the Austrians. On a summer's day, I'm sure the park would be a great place to relax and enjoy the sunshine. But while I was chilly, I wasn't in danger of getting wet, as I was soon to come across one of the unique architectural features of Bologna, the porticos, or sidewalks covered with archways. No other city in the world has as many porticos as Bologna. Altogether, they reach up to 53 kilometres, 33 miles, if you include those outside the medieval city walls. The porticos of Bologna were built almost spontaneously, probably in the early Middle Ages, with the first historical evidence dated 1041. They started as upper-storey porches on the houses, trying to expand their living areas. And then over the years, people kept increasing the size until it became necessary to build support columns to stop them from collapsing. And that's what's created the arches. Walking through them is really quite special. There's kind of a sense of being part of a gathered community somehow, just by adding that feeling of being inside while you're outside. Having said that, some of the streets maybe weren't as well looked after as they could have been. Like any large city, Bologna has its rough spots, and the first few streets I headed down featured quite a few closed down stores that had been tagged or graffitied. Later on, I got to see some excellent examples of street art, but my first encounters weren't quite so polished. On the way to the city centre, I also encountered a large marketplace that was spread out over a number of streets. It was huge and it was packed. Turns out I had stumbled across La Piazzola markets, which have been operating since 1251, when they began as a livestock market. There are more than 400 stalls where you can find everything. Locals and tourists were enjoying the range, which covered food, clothing, crafts, bric-a-brac, you name it, it was there. The markets run every Friday and Saturday, 8 to 5 p.m. The markets were also the first place I encountered the crowds, and they certainly weren't the last. The closer I got to the city, the bigger the buzz of people. Follow the buzz and you'll reach the hive of activity, the Piazza Maggiore. The centuries-old square remains the heart of the city, an open space for the community. The square was built in 1200 to bring together city activities, exchanges, trades and services into one central place. It has a fabulous atmosphere, just a great space to sit, people watch and enjoy the many street performers, surrounded by the beautiful red architecture. Of course, the red refers not just to the buildings, but to the reputation of the locals to be red in their political swing. Bologna has been left-leaning almost as long as it's been a city. Aspects of its red culture can be seen today in the street art. I wandered around the student district and was delighted to find plenty of anti-establishment graffiti. When you visit, you'll get your own very unique exhibition. The city's street art is constantly changing and being painted over, making it a living canvas for expression. The day I was there, I was also fortunate to see a model of local expression through protest. I don't speak Italian, so I didn't understand it, and I can't tell you if the demonstrators and their gathering identify as red politically, but I can attest that their peaceful demonstration was well managed in between the swirl of tourists and Saturday shoppers. They stood outside one example of the learned character of Bologna, the Biblioteca Salaborsa. I wandered into this public library not knowing what to expect and got a very pleasant surprise to find a beautiful space built to serve the community in true learned fashion. The library was opened in 2001, but the building it resides in is far older. The ruins on which the site was built include remains from the ancient city of Bologna, which dates back to 189 BC. There are also Etruscan ruins on the site that predate the Roman ones. Apparently, these ruins are visible through the crystal floor in the centre of the library, where you can look straight into the archaeological site, and the ancient ruins are also accessible from the basement floor. Sadly, I didn't know this when I visited the library, so I missed out. Hopefully you won't with these tips. Tours of the ruins have to be booked in advance, and they only take place on a Friday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. I've popped a link in the description to our website where you'll find the blog version of this episode, which has all the links you need to book a tour. Just outside the library is the fabulous Fontana del Neptune, or Fountain of Neptune, 1565. This intriguing design is made of local boulder and covered by marble from Verona. Presiding over it all, Neptune raises his hand to placate the waves. This is said to represent the new power of Pope Pius IV. Just as Neptune was master of the seas, the Pope was master of Bologna and the world. And indeed, the world kept pouring into Bologna. Bologna's title of La Dotta, the learned one, comes from an ancient claim to fame. It is home to the oldest university in the Western world, the University of Bologna. It was founded in 1088 and has been open since the very first day it was created. University's alumni include Erasmus, 4 former popes, Copernicus, and Dante. Dante's popped up many times in my travels around Tuscany, so here is where I make a shameless plug for our video on Pistoia. Check it out if you want a local to take you around a town that Dante featured in his Commedia, calling it a den of beasts. I love that story. I went to take a look at the university, but sadly missed my opportunity again. It's closed Saturday afternoon and Sunday, and I'd left it a couple of hours too late to enter. I was late to the university because I'd stopped to enjoy a bit of the fat. It's pretty hard to resist the many fabulous cafes and restaurants of Bologna. Its title of La Grassa has been around since the Middle Ages, as it was a centre of food production and trade. The city is blessed to be surrounded by a fertile countryside. Plus, the mix of students and professors of different nationalities, which poured into the famous university, brought with them a healthy appetite and a demand for diversity, supporting the food production industry. The fat comes from the tendency of Bolognan recipes to be rich in meat, particularly pork and dairy products such as butter, soft cheeses, and Parmigiano. The pasta of the area is egg-based and usually thick and flat, unlike spaghetti. I was very surprised to discover that spaghetti bolognese is really an American-Italian version of what in Bologna is known as tagliatelle al ragù. It is absolutely delicious. But it's definitely not your only option for pasta. You'll find a fabulous range of restaurants to choose from, which will all help fatten you up in Bolognan style. So all up, how do I rate my solo day trip to the learned, the fat, and the red? I'd have to give Bologna a thumbs up recommendation for sure. There really is a buzzy atmosphere that draws you in. And while it was certainly busy, it didn't have the queues and congestions that was a feature of Florence. Bologna is a place you can comfortably pop into spontaneously and enjoy a day of sights, insights, and culinary delights. See what I did there? I hope you have a chance to visit. And when you do, please comment and let us know what you saw, thought, and ate. If you're looking for other spots to add to your tour of Tuscany, check out our vlogs, blogs, and podcasts at Breakaway Bravehearts. Thanks so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit subscribe. We're planning to visit every country in the world, so make sure you come along with us. Happy travels, everyone.